Hey guys, and welcome to another daily pack opening here at the Games Repository. Here we're doing the Pokemon the Trading Card Game, X and Y, Flashfire. Let's dive on in. We're going to start off with Binacle. It's a Pokemon we've seen in an earlier pack. Its double scratch ability is potentially quite powerful. It can do a lot of damage. Not bad, nothing special. Next up, Roselia. Another Pokemon we've seen before. Its abilities are quite nice and basic. Sleep Powder is quite useful, 1 energy for 10 damage and a 50% chance to put it to sleep. However, Roselia is particularly useful for its evolution into Roserade. Next up, Stunky. 60 health dark type Pokemon with a retreat cost of 1 normal. Weak to fire. Resists psychic. Weak to fighting. Resists psychic. Smokescreen. 1 dark. If the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your opponent's next turn, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, that attack does nothing. Not a bad ability, 50% chance to make your opponent's attacks do nothing. Good if they're winding up for a big hit. Slash. 2 normal energy for 20 damage. Pretty basic attack, quite efficient. Doing alright damage for the energy investment. Not a bad little guy. Next up, Flabébé. 40 health fairy type Pokemon, retreat cost of 1 normal, resists steel, weak to dark. Aromatherapy, 1 fairy energy, heal 10 damage from each of your Pokemon. Most useful if your opponent's using a tactic that deals a lot of damage to all of your Pokemon, including your benched guys. Next up, Geodude. 60 health fighting type, with a retreat cost of 2 normal, weak to grass. Rollout. 1 fighting, 10 damage. Basic attack. Flail. 2 normal energy for 10x damage. This attack does 10 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. Pretty good if your opponent is trying to slowly whittle down your Geodude. Can be good early in the game. Not bad, nothing special. Next up, we have our foil, Carbink. This is a 20 health fairy type Pokemon with a retreat cost of 2 normal. Weak to steel, resists dark. Crystal Barrier, 1 fairy energy. Flip a coin. If heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. Particularly useful if your opponent is trying to use an attack that also inflicts sleep or paralysis or other status effects on your Pokemon. Wonder Blast. 3 normal energy for 40 plus damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each fairy energy attached to this Pokemon. Pretty useful in a deck where you're using other fairy type creatures to manipulate a lot of fairy energy. Has potential to do a hefty amount of damage on nice basic Pokemon. Not bad. Next up, we have a lovely foil full card art Lysander. Trainer supporter card. Switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. A reprint of Gust of Wind. Potentially good, quite good and tricksy. Particularly useful for its artwork. Next up, Floette, the evolution of Flabébé. Another Pokemon that we've already talked about. Its Petal Blizzard attack is quite good for whittling down all of your opponent's Pokemon, including their benched ones. So if they've got one on the bench that you just have to get rid of, very good ability. And Razor Leaf is a nice efficient ability that does a large amount of damage for its energy investment. Good little Pokemon. Next up, Sacred Ash. Item card. Shuffle 5 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. Good if your opponent is very quickly getting rid of your Pokemon and you have to refill your deck. Last but not least, Miltank, a 100 health normal type Pokemon with a retreat cost of 2 normal, weak to fighting. Powerful Friends, 1 normal energy for 10 plus damage. If you have any stage 2 Pokemon on your bench, this attack does 70 more damage. So, for an investment of 1, you have the potential to do 80 damage. Very useful if you've got tricks for swapping Pokemon in and out. Hammer In, 3 normal energy for 60 damage. An efficient ability, dealing a large amount of damage for a basic energy investment. Not a bad little Pokemon. Particularly useful. From this pack, I particularly like Miltank for its interaction with evolutions. However, can't go wrong with full card art in any game. Thanks guys, and until next time.